Jesse's jabber with a friendly face. Welcome into your favorite space. If it's on his mind or it's in the air, and you've got a minute, drag up the chair. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Stay a while and enjoy the chat. Jesse's jabber, Jesse's jabber. Time goes by and life goes faster. Take a minute just to clear your head. Maybe there's comfort in the words that he says. Going through life with his kids and his wife. Throws in sports and some PS5. No hot takes, he just shoots it straight. Just a regular guy at the end of the day. If you found your way through the endless noise and clatter, listen in, maybe tell a friend. This is Jesse's Jabber.
The great white whale got a shower today and sits quietly in the driveway as the cool night air settles in. The 12 are all great big bottles of excitement waiting to explode with the arrival of summer break. But even they finally crashed. As I sit in the quiet of a house that's finally gone still, I want you to picture something with me for a second. Think about a classic post-game interview after a massive championship win. The confetti's flying, cameras are flashing. The sideline reporter shoves a microphone right into the face of the game's MVP. They're exhausted, they're covered in sweat, and they just reached the absolute mountaintop of their profession. But what's the very first thing almost every single one of them does? Before they talk about the touchdown pass, before they talk about the buzzer beater, or how hard they worked in the offseason, they look right into that camera lens and say, "Man, first I want to thank God. I want to thank my coaches, my teammates, my wife, my family. I wouldn't be standing here holding this trophy without them." We hear it so often, we almost tune it out. It sounds like a cliche, just a standard scripted answer. But if you strip away the confetti, the stadium lights, there's a profound, heavy truth hiding in that answer. Now think about when a long tournament day ends and the parking lot tells the real story. Not the scoreboard, not the highlights, not the social media pictures where everybody's smiling, holding rings, medals, and snow cones. The parking lot tells the truth. Bag chairs, halfway folded, because everybody's too tired to do it right. Empty Gatorade bottles rolling around in the floorboard of the great white whale. Somebody walking back to the field because a kid forgot their glove again. Parents moving slower than they did 12 hours earlier. Dirt stuck to cleats. Sunburned necks. That smell of red clay and concession stand food somehow permanently living inside the vehicle until the end of time. And tonight, as I was thinking about loading chairs and times we were trying to remember which kid left what in the dugout, I remembered something. There's always more people carrying the weight than people standing under the lights. Everybody notices the players, but nobody really notices the parents dragging coolers, the assistant coach hitting ground balls for 2 hours. Nobody notices grandma sitting in the heat keeping score, or the spouse back home holding life together while everybody else is at the ballpark. Nobody notices the people quietly making the whole thing work. And honestly, the older I get, the more I realize that's not just sports. That's life. And the truth that most of us are actively ignoring in our day-to-day lives is nobody wins alone. And that's where this second season of Jesse's Jabber starts. Season 1, we spent a lot of time talking about the individual player, growth, leadership, change, burnout, identity, survival, becoming. We talked about the pressure people carry and the quiet battles most people never see. We talked about fixing our own habits, finding our identity, and trying to handle the chaos of a loud, busy world. Season 1 was about asking, who am I becoming? And that matters because we got to know who we are. But this season feels different. This season is about the roster, the team around you, the people who help carry you through seasons you honestly weren't strong enough to survive by yourself. That's the roster. And if I'm being real, I think a lot of us forget those people matter until life gets heavy. Because the older I get, the more I realize who we become has a whole lot to do with who was standing beside us while we were becoming it. So welcome to season 2. Pull up a chair. Just settle in. This is Jesse's Jabber. Outnumbered, overstimulated, and on the mic. Let's get into it. Sports teaches us something pretty early if we pay attention. No matter how talented one player is, one player can't win the whole game alone. Doesn't matter how good the pitcher is if nobody can field. Doesn't matter how talented the quarterback is if the offensive line collapses every play. Doesn't matter how great the scorer is if nobody rebounds, defends, communicates, sacrifices, encourages, or does the dirty work. Nobody celebrates. Every great team has people whose names never get announced. And honestly, adulthood feels exactly like that sometimes. But somewhere along the way, our culture started glorifying independence like it's the ultimate achievement. Modern culture took that idea of personal growth and twisted it. It convinced us that asking for help is a sign of weakness. It put the solo grind on a pedestal. We praise self-made, built from nothing, did it on my own. We act like the ultimate goal in life is to carry the heaviest load possible completely by ourselves, without ever letting anyone see us sweat. How's that solo grind working out for you? Because if you're anything like me, there's days when you feel absolutely buried. You're trying to manage a career, handle the household logistics, be a present spouse, raise good kids, keep the vehicles running, stay healthy, and keep your head above water. You look at yourself in the mirror and think, man, I must not be tough enough. I must not be working hard enough. I'm failing. Let's stop right there. We aren't losing because we lack talent. We aren't failing because we aren't strong enough. We're losing because we're trying to play a team sport entirely by ourselves. We're out there on the court trying to run full court press against 5 people. And we look around and wonder why we're exhausted. The older I get, the less I believe anybody really does life alone. I think most strong people had somebody helping hold the rope. Maybe it was parents who sacrificed more than we realized. Maybe it was a coach who believed in us before we believed in ourselves. Maybe it was a spouse carrying extra weight while we were trying to survive mentally. Maybe it was friends checking on us during seasons where we stopped acting like ourselves. Maybe it was somebody who saw potential in us before our life matched it. Most people standing tall today were helped there by somebody nobody talks about. Who's helping you become the version of yourself you want to be? When we think about sports, there's always a hard boundary between the fans and the athletes. Similarly, we have to draw a line between 2 very different groups of people in our life: the stadium and the locker room. Think about a football stadium. There's 70 to 100,000 people sitting in the stands. Those are the fans, casual observers, the critics, the social media followers, the acquaintances. The stadium people, they serve a purpose, but we need to understand their nature. Stadium people cheer when we're winning, but they boo when we drop the ball. They love the highlights. They love the drama, and they know our stats. But the second things go south, or the second the game gets boring, they pack up their coolers and they slide out early to beat the traffic. They know our name, but they don't know our heart. And then you have the locker room. Not just a sports locker room, but a life locker room. The locker room, small, quiet, secure place. And the people in that room are a completely different breed. The locker room people don't care about the stadium noise. They see us when the cameras are turned off. They see us when we're bloody, bruised, completely exhausted, and sitting on the bench with our head in our hands, wondering if we even have it in us to go back out there for the fourth quarter. Locker room people don't boo us when we make a mistake. They're the ones handing us the water bottle. They're the ones holding the ice pack on our shoulder. They're the ones that look us in the eyes and say, hey, take a breath. Put your helmet back on. We're going back out there together. Every single one of us has a roster in our locker room, whether we realize it or not. Some people are starters. Some are role players. Some are captains. Some are glue guys. Some are bench players that barely get noticed until everything falls apart, and suddenly we realize how important they actually are. Some people, if we're honest, probably shouldn't be in our locker room at all. And that part, it gets harder as you get older. Adulthood has a way of revealing who's really with you and who just like being associated with your highlights. Hard seasons expose relationships fast. Success, it exposes relationships too. We learn who celebrates us. We learn who competes with us. We learn who disappears when life gets inconvenient. We learn who only loves the winning version of us. We learn who sits beside us in silence when life gets heavy. That's the real team. Not the loudest people. Not the most visible people. The steady people. The safe people. The people who make our nervous system exhale just a little bit when they walk in the room. Those people matter more than we realize. The tragedy is we spend 80% of our emotional energy trying to please the people in the stadium. We worry about what the critics think, what the acquaintances think, what the crowd is murmuring, all while we give the leftover crumbs of our time and energy to the people standing right next to us in our locker room. Some of the most valuable people in life are the invisible MVPs, the people nobody applauds, the people who never need attention, the people doing the small things that quietly keep everything from falling apart. Parents understand this deeply, especially the exhausted ones, because half of parenting feels invisible. It's the rides, the schedules, the meals, the laundry, the emotional support, the late night conversations, the constant problem solving, the mental tabs that never close. And most of it happens quietly. Nobody throws a parade because we remembered all the uniforms this week. Nobody hands out trophies because we stayed emotionally available while mentally exhausted. Nobody sees the behind-the-scenes work required to keep a family emotionally healthy, but it matters. It matters a lot. And honestly, some people save entire seasons without ever touching the ball. That's true in sports. It's true in marriage. It's true in friendships. And it's definitely true in life. I think one of the hardest lessons adulthood teaches is that support systems don't build themselves automatically. We have to invest in them. We have to protect them. We have to nurture them. And we also have to become somebody other people can lean on too. Because everybody wants a strong roster. But being a good teammate matters too. Can people call us when life falls apart? Do people feel emotionally safe around us? Do we only show up when things are convenient? Do we celebrate people when they succeed? Do we check on people without needing something first? Do we make people feel seen? That matters more than accomplishments sometimes. And I'll be honest, there have been seasons in my own life where I isolated myself way too much. Not because I wanted to hurt anybody, mostly because I was tired, overwhelmed, trying to survive, trying not to burden people, trying to carry everything myself, because somewhere along the way, I convinced myself that needing help meant weakness. But burnout grows best in isolation. And pride will exhaust you if you let it. At some point, you realize strength isn't pretending we don't need people. Strength is learning how to let good people love us without feeling guilty for it. The thing that really gets me now is the 12. The 12 are watching all of this. Not just how we work, not just how we parent, not just how we lead. They're watching how adults support each other. They're learning what friendship really looks like, what marriage looks like, what loyalty looks like, what community looks like. They're learning whether life is something you survive alone or something people help each other carry. And honestly, I hope they grow up understanding something I learned way later than I should have. We don't get extra points for suffering alone. We don't become stronger by isolating ourselves from people who care about us. And we definitely don't become healthier pretending we don't need support. Everybody needs a team. Everybody. So here's some things to think about as we get going into season 2. Are you over-rostered on critics? Look around. Do you have people in your life that want all the benefits of being on the team, but they refuse to ever put on a jersey and help you play? Do they have a lot of opinions on how you're running your life, but never offer to help carry the load? If someone doesn't have sweat on their jersey, they shouldn't have a say in how you play the game. Stop letting spectators coach you from the stands. Is your bench completely empty? Are you trying to be the head coach, the star quarterback, the equipment manager, and the trainer all at the same time? If you're doing everything yourself, never asking for help, never letting your spouse in on the struggle, never relying on friends, never leaning on mentors, you're on the fast track to a season-ending injury. We call it burnout. Nobody gets a medal for collapsing just before the finish line because they refuse to pass the baton. Who's in our corner? Who's really in our locker room? Who steadies us when life gets loud? Who reminds us who we are when we forget? Who helps carry the emotional weight nobody else sees? Who helps handle our bad days? If our world absolutely collapsed at 2 o'clock in the morning, if the car broke down on a dark highway, medical emergency hit, or if we just broke down and couldn't carry the weight anymore, who are the first 3 people we could call without feeling embarrassed. If we don't have those names instantly, our locker room may need some work. Maybe just as important, whose corner are we standing in? Because at the end of the day, nobody walks off the field alone. Not really. There's always somebody helping carry the gear, somebody keeping score, somebody holding things together behind the scenes, somebody helping exhausted people keep going. Maybe that's why the older I get, the less impressed I am by scoreboards and spotlights. Because eventually, the crowd goes home. The lights shut off. The social media posts stop. And the parking lot tells the truth. You find out who's still there helping carry the gear. That's when we realize the real blessing in life was never the spotlight. It was the locker room, the roster, the team around us. And honestly, some seasons, those people matter a whole lot more than the scoreboard ever will. That's all the time I have for tonight. The 12 will be up and at 'em long before I want to be tomorrow. And the rain, it'll probably coop us up just as the excitement explodes. That's okay, because I'm satisfied with my roster, and we're staying in the game. If you're not satisfied with yours, or you're unsure, step back. Take a look at your roster. Look at the people that are actually down in the red clay with you. The ones who aren't afraid of your sweat, your exhaustion, or your bad days. And do me a favor. Don't wait until you're standing under the stadium lights, holding the trophy, to tell them they matter. Don't wait until the championship moment to look them in the eye and say, I couldn't do this without you. Send the text. Make the call. Pass the baton. Let the locker room know you see them and that you're in there with them. Because the lights are always going to fade. The stadium is always going to empty out. And the critics in the stands will always find another game to watch. But the team, the people holding the rope, they're the ones riding back with you in the van. When sweat, dirt, and concession stand grease smell permanent and the day's done. So tonight, load up. Leave the chairs half folded if you need to. Take a deep breath. Look at the people standing next to you and let your nervous system exhale. You're not losing. You're human. And you don't have to play the game alone anymore. This is Jesse's Jabber. Outnumbered, overstimulated, and on the mic. Drive safe. Hug your people. Build your team. And we'll talk again soon.